All right, we are live.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Call to order the June 9th meeting of the Norwalk Common Council. If you would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor, I think you're on mute.
Okay. I should have done this before we sat down, but would you please join me in a moment of silence? As we know, Mr. George Floyd was laid to rest today in Texas, and may he rest in peace, and may his family find peace and support.
This is Dan. No.
Thank you. Clerk, if you'll please call the roll and read the statements.
This meeting is being recorded for rebroadcast, and we ask everyone to speak clearly one at a time. Please state your name when called upon by the presiding chair. Members of the public can access this meeting by telephone, Zoom, and/or the City of Norwalk YouTube channel. There's a link with specific instructions on our website. Thank you. Mr. Burnett.
Present.
Ms. Johnson.
Present.
Mr. Langella.
Here.
Mr. Sachinelli.
Present.
Ms. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Huvelman.
Present.
Mr. Roberts.
Present.
Mr. Dumas. Ms. Young.
Here.
Mr. Kides.
Here.
Mr. Theodorides. George.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Here.
Mr. Keegan.
Here.
Mr. Sirenides.
Here.
Mr. Livingston.
Here.
Ms. Shanahan.
Here.
Mr. Dumas, is he out today? No? Okay. 14 present, you have a quorum.
Thank you. If we can please show the screen for the agenda. Who's going to share the screen to bring the agenda up?
Yeah, I'm bringing it up now, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Larry.
Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you, Larry. The first item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes of the May 26th, 2020 meeting. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Moved by Ms. Shanahan. Do we have any corrections, deletions, omissions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Burnett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of minor grammatical and typo changes. First, on the page 3 of the minutes, the 4th paragraph down, it says, he said the city, that should be is looking, not if looking. So if should be is. The next item is on page 6 of the minutes, the middle paragraph. The word Suez is the name of a company, and that should be all capital letters. Page 7, the 6th paragraph down, it says, third sentence, it says that he has been working with Altice, and Altice is spelled A-L-T-I-C-E, not S-E. And the next sentence, it says, in addition, he's working with Spring, that should be Sprint. And then finally, on page 8, the second paragraph, again, Altice is spelled A-L-T-I-C-E. Those are the only updates that I have.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett. Are there any other corrections?
Yes, Mr.
Johnson.
Mayor. Oh. I also see on the minutes on page 7 that Ms. Barbara Meyer Mitchell's last name is misspelled. I believe an E is missing. And for the record, if it's technically appropriate, Chromebooks are, I believe, one word. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Any further corrections, deletions, omissions? Seeing none, all in favor of the minutes as corrected? Any opposed? Any abstentions? The minutes pass unanimously. There are no resignations, appointments, reappointments. So that brings us to Mayor's remarks. As you know, over the past about the week and a half, we have had some demonstrations here in the city of Norwalk. I'm pleased to say that those demonstrations were very peaceful and well conducted. I also want to thank those who participated for keeping first and foremost in our mind the situation that we are now experiencing. And I would also like to thank the police department for their participation. I was at 2 of them, as were a few of the council members here. And I think we can all agree that the goal of the police department was simply to support and protect the protesters, to make sure that we were able to do so peacefully and cohesively. So I want to thank everybody who participated. I think once again, Norwalk can stand proud and say we show the rest of the country how to do things and how to do things in an appropriate way. Moving on, as you know, the governor has moved into, or will be moving into, phase 2 of his Reopen Connecticut plan. The City of Norwalk Reopen plan, which is paralleled to some degree to the governor's plan. The governor has moved up his phase 2 from June 20th to June 17th. We are going to be meeting over the next couple of days to look at our plan, where we might be able to make some adjustments and moving a few things up based on the situation of the coronavirus or the pandemic that as it exists in Norwalk. We know that Norwalk is a city like Stamford and Bridgeport and New Haven and Hartford and Danbury. And we also have more numbers. So we want to make sure that before we start opening up and doing it too quickly, we want to make sure that we will phase in appropriately with the first item, or the first and foremost goal of keeping our community safe and healthy. So for instance, as you know, we opened up the beach to cars, vehicular traffic, and we have people from out of town parking offsite. We are looking at allowing swimming, which has been prohibited up until now. We will be focusing on opening the restrooms at the beach. I've gotten a lot of questions and feedback about that. We're going to be having a discussion this week with Dr. Adamowski and his team, as well as Dr. Estrella, the incoming superintendent, to talk about summer school and whether or not summer school, or how summer school can be conducted, but conducted safely, that will not jeopardize the health of our students and our staff. The outdoor dining is going extremely well. Coming up in phase 2, they're going to be allowing nail salons. I believe tattoo parlors, restaurants will be allowed to have indoor dining up to 50% of their capacity, but there are going to be a lot of restrictions that will have to be put in place so that they can do so safely. Again, everything that we need to do here in the city in conjunction with the governor's plan is to first and foremost work on the safety and health of our community. I believe that's all that I have, and I will turn it over to the council president, Ms. Smith.
Before we do, Mayor Rilling, I think we skipped over public participation, and I believe we have.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Thank you, Mr. Burnett. Do we have anybody who signed up to address the council?
I have no correspondence from anyone, Mr. Mayor.
And Mr. Larry, Mr. Manzi, do we have anybody signed up?
Yes, we have one person raising their hand, Diane Laricella.
Okay. Would you unmute her? And Ms. Laricella, you're on.
Oh, we can't hear you, Diane. Unmute again. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening. For the record, Diane Laricella. I wanted to applaud the city on the way we have handled much of the COVID crisis. It's affected everyone at every level, and especially the teachers as well. Tonight, I just wanted to comment on two things. The first is under the land use and building management. I wasn't able to write a comment prior to tonight. And it has to do with the, I wasn't able to be part of the discussion at the committee level. And I just wanted to throw out a question that I'm sure many of you have already asked, but I wanted to put it on the record. And that is, with the requests of Jim Giuliano's company to assist Alan Lowe and others with the oversight of our many school construction projects, it came to mind to me that possibly we would need instead a full-time employee that could then be where we would have more of control on intellectual property. Not to say that Jim does not and his team does not share information that's put into the records, but it does appear that there's a need for a discussion about personnel that work for the city and the taxpayers. Tonight, my main reason I decided to come on is to just talk about briefly, for the minutes I have remain, a planning committee related to the money expended for your vote of an industrial zone study. And I'm very much in favor of this. I have been for many years. I think it's so important for our city. One time, a industrial mite many years ago. And a lot of people over the years have not felt manufacturing or industry is needed in Norwalk. I would say that they are incorrect. It balances our tax base and presents many opportunities. And over the years, I've actually seen us giving away through various administrations, not just this one. Our industrial zones are given over to residential and commercial entities. And that has caused an imbalance of our tax base. But moreover, industrial zone, I hope, will include the true research of what kinds of new clean manufacturers and industry, like microgreens, like they've done in Bridgeport, where they make use of the old industrial areas for things where you have good paying jobs. I also wanted to recount that MLK Boulevard was being constructed when I first moved to Norwalk. It is starting to, we have residential and recreational creep. It has not fulfilled yet its true mission. So this industrial study, I'm sure, will go into it. Lastly, I just wanted to say that there are other parts of the city where we could support clean industry, especially off of Perry Avenue. When another administration decided through their zoning commission to upzone the Muller Park area and other areas nearby, we really blew it as far as providing a balanced tax base. So I want to make sure that this industrial study will take a look at areas other than South Norwalk. It is not just a contractor yard study. It has to do, of course, with looking at good paying jobs, balancing our tax base, and providing clean manufacturing opportunities. Thank you and have a good evening.
Thank you, Ms. Laricella. Has there anybody else signed up, Mr. Manzi?
No, there isn't, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And now I will pass it off to the Council President, Ms. Smith. And thank you, Mr. Burnett, for catching that error.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to begin by reading a statement. This was unanimously agreed by the council that we needed to make a powerful statement about the George Floyd killing and police brutality against Black citizens. And so I just want to put out that our members, Dominique Johnson, Darlene Young, Greg Burnett, and who am I forgetting? Dominique, Darlene. I want to make sure I name all the right people. Help me out. Who am I missing?
Kadeem.
Oh yes, and Kadeem, thank you. Put their heads together and wrote this. I put my English teacher edits to it, and I will read it for you now. We, the members of the Norwalk Common Council, join together in condemning the senseless killing of George Floyd by police officers who are meant to protect and serve. We stand in solidarity with Norwalk's Black community. As leaders elected by the people to serve on your behalf, we recommit ourselves to actively listen and to find more constructive ways to challenge racism and end social injustice in our city. At this pivotal moment, we also recognize that all children of Norwalk deserve to inherit a more just and equitable city. Norwalk's diversity is its greatest and most precious resource, and it should be respected and nurtured. We in city government must work to ensure that we value and defend this diversity, not just in words, but also in actions. We recognize that building a just community requires elected officials working with a coalition of people willing to do the work necessary to address systemic and institutional racism in our city. Our country is in a national crisis, and our humanity is at a crossroads as the Black community continues to deal with the residue of racism and injustice. As leaders, we commit to a process of deep self-reflection and accountability. We stand Norwalk strong and join our voices in unison for change and in declaration that Black lives matter. I'd just like to add, if I may, a few personal notes. We talked so much the other night, and we're committed. This council is committed to moving beyond just this statement. We want and we need to see action, and we want to be a part of it. We recognize that our police department is many steps ahead, many other police departments, and have been very willing to and have revised policies and established standards to eliminate brutality, but we do still have room for improvement. And I want to agree with the mayor. I did attend one of the protests, and I really want to commend our police department and Chief Kulawik for handling the protesters with respect. Being a part of the marching, in fact, and even taking a knee along with them. So I think that, I also just want to make a few observations as an educator, because I think that education is the most important part of making change. As an educator myself, I've committed my lessons to shining a light on Black oppression and social injustice. And what really feeds prejudice is ignorance. It's fear, it's lack of understanding and knowledge, and just plain ignorance. Education is one of the most important ways that we tackle the pervasive systemic and institutional racism that exists. And it's really incumbent on all of us to recognize that from Reconstruction to Jim Crow to redlining to our current zoning laws, that Blacks have been and are still being oppressed. After emancipation, oppression has only changed its form. And police brutality is really just a symptom of a much, much deeper problem. So, you know, these protests are great. They're incredible. They've already made some changes. And I'm so heartened by the protests, not just here in Norwalk, but in our surrounding communities. But I want to challenge those communities. I'm calling out the students who have, you know, led the way in in the towns around us to really take it a step further. Talk to your parents, talk to your community leaders, and demand change and fair, affordable housing in your towns. And that's when we're going to start to see a change in the poverty that exists. And, you know, it's just one of the most important things that we do. So that being said, I'm going to turn the consent calendar over to Mr. Theodorides, who will read it.
Thank you. 7A, Public Works Committee. 1A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with AM Rizzo Electrical Contractors for State Project 102-347 Norwalk Traffic Signal System Upgrade. Phase 3 for a total sum not to exceed $4,131,983.70 base bid and $42,270 alternate A, accounts noted. 1B, authorize the Director of Transportation, Mobility and Parking to execute orders on contract with AM Rizzo Electrical Contractors for State Project 102-347 Norwalk Traffic Signal System Upgrade. Phase 3 for a sum not to exceed $413,198, account noted. 2A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement between the City of Norwalk and JKB Consulting, LLC for environmental inspection services and support necessary to remain in compliance with regulatory environmental agencies, EPA, DEEP, ACOE, and conservation during the Watercourse Maintenance Project, DBW 2019-1 for a sum not to exceed $47,730, accounts noted. 2B, authorize the Chief of Operations and Public Works, Anthony Carr, to add orders on contract to the contract agreement between the City of Norwalk and JKB Consulting, LLC, for a sum not to exceed $4,773, accounts noted. B, Land Use and Building Management Committee, authorized to increase contingency allowance for the Norwalk Concert Hall sound system replacement project with WC McBride Electrical Contractor, LLC, from $3,914 to $9,692.66. Funds are available from account noted. 2, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Orion Protective Services Incorporation to provide security services at the Norwalk Public Library, 1 Belden Avenue and 10 Washington Street. Base contract fee shall be for fiscal year 2020 through 2021, not to exceed $136,012. Fiscal year 2021 through 2022, $140,344. Fiscal year 2022 through 2023, $142,200. Fiscal year 2023 through 2024, $149,626. and fiscal year 2024 through 2025, $152,720. Funds are available in operating budget 016200-5296. C, Planning Committee. 2, approve the 5-year consolidated plan and PY46 annual action plan and authorize the mayor to execute any and all documents associated with the submission of the con plan / PY46 AAP. 3, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with UDO Incorporation to conduct an industrial zone study in the amount not to exceed $100,000.
Thank you, Mr. Theodorides. I'd like to take a roll call vote, please. Mr. Burnett?
Aye.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Langella?
Aye.
Mr. Sacchinelli?
Aye.
Ms. Smith is a yes. Mr. Hoovelman?
Aye.
Mr. Roberts?
Aye.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Kides?
Yes.
Mr. Theodorides?
Yes.
Mr. Keegan?
Yes.
Mr. Sirenides?
Yes.
Mr. Livingston?
Yes.
Ms. Shanahan?
Yes.
Consent calendar passes unanimously. Back to you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. So let me just recoup the items that are off the consent are items 7A3, 7B3, and 7C2. Is that correct? Okay, so item 7A3, Mr. Sirenides.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 7A3, presentation by Michael M. Yosak, Assistant Director of Transportation, Department of Transportation, Mobility and Parking regarding findings from Phase 1 test results for a portion of the Norwalk River Valley Trail project. I believe Mr. Yosak is with us tonight and he plans on speaking on that. So, Mr. Yosak, whenever you're ready.
Yes, thank you.
And I believe there's no vote after this. Is that correct? This is just a presentation.
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
Thank you for this opportunity to update you on the current status of the Norwalk River Valley Trail. The council has already authorized the mayor to execute a lease agreement with the state of Connecticut at the March 10th meeting. There's no need for action on this item tonight, but however, we want to bring you the results of the Phase 1 environmental review, which were not available at the time of the last meeting. The Corporation Council felt that the results should be presented to the council tonight, just in case you have any questions on it. The NRVT is a 28-mile, mainly off-road trail that starts at Calf Pasture Beach in Norwalk and continue primarily along the Norwalk River Route 7 corridor through 5 towns, eventually ending in Danbury. There are currently 2 sections of trail scheduled for construction in Norwalk over the next 12 to 18 months. The Willwalk section, which is a piece north of Gristmill Road in Norwalk that continues to Kent Road in Wilton, and another piece which is referred to as the missing link. It's a 1-mile section of trail between Union Park and New Canaan Avenue that connect 2 existing sections of trail. Some of this trail that is proposed for construction in the upcoming months lies on land that is owned by the Connecticut Department of Transportation. As a result, the city is being required to obtain permission to construct these sections of trail from the right-of-way section at DOT. The type of permission that is being required depends on where the trail is located on the state-owned property. If the section of trail is located within the highway right-of-way, only an encroachment permit is needed. However, if the land is not located within the highway, a lease agreement is required. For the currently proposed sections of trail, there are 3 locations where a lease agreement is required. These lease agreements have more stringent requirements than an encroachment permit, one which is an environmental remediation clause. This clause requires that the city remediate any of the pre-existing or future environmental hazards within the leased area at the city's, primarily at the city's expense. As a result of this requirement, the Corporation Council asked that a phase 1 environmental review be undertaken of all these properties. We've presented the results of the phase 1 study for the other 2 sections, both defined as minimal risk. Tonight, I'd like to present the summary of the phase 1 for this last section of trail, which is at 38 Riverside Avenue, where a parking lot is going to be used for the trail. The full report is included as backup to your agenda, but let me summarize it here. The consultants have determined that there is a low risk, low probability that the area in question contains any oil or hazardous material. They note that the area can be used as a parking lot without any further investigation and suggest that the city consider utilizing the best management practices. They define it as Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection guidance for rail trails has a good recommendation for us to follow. As per this recommendation, when we put the bidding documents together, the city will require that our successful contractor abide by this guidance. Basically, seems that everything is okay with us leasing this property here. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Thank you, Mr. Yosak. Are there any questions? Any questions for Mr. Yosak? Mr. Serenides, anything to add?
No, Mr. Yosak gave a very detailed and clear explanation. I think he did a great job. As we know, we've been working on the Norwalk River Valley Trail for a while now. People have been, especially with COVID and the parks being closed, I noticed a lot more people out there enjoying the trail. So personally, I feel like it's a good addition. I think it's just going to help bring more life to that area too, and it'll be a positive addition to the city. And thank you, Mr. Yosak, for that detailed explanation.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 7B3. I think that's Mr. Livingston.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll move the item, then speak to it. Before I do, I just want to note that Alan Lowe and Jim Giuliani are here too to speak or answer any questions we have. So let me move the item. Item B3, authorize the Mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an amendment to the agreement with Construction Solutions Group, LLC for program management services for major building construction projects, provide additional staffing from July 1, 2020 to June 30, 2022 for a total additional fee not to exceed $934,640. Total fee will be charged to the following project: Norwalk High School, $493, $336, account to be determined. Cranberry School, $266,274, account to be determined. And Aramaic School, $175,000, account to be determined. So just briefly on this item, this is an amendment to an existing agreement we entered into 3 years ago with CSG through an RFP process. We've been very happy with the work that Jim has done through the time. He's helped Alan quite a bit with all the school projects that have been going on. This proposal is before the council because of all the projects that are now being planned or actually underway, including the finishing up work at Ponas, the Cranberry, Naramake, and as you all know, the Norwalk High School. And I want to stop for a minute to talk about that one because you know, that, as we all know, there are still some uncertainties with that project. We're waiting for special approval by the state. And I want everybody to be comforted that if that does not move forward, then we would cut back the hours necessary. So this is contract. For one thing, it could be canceled at any time for any reason at all by the city. But more importantly, Jim and Alan have worked together long enough and have reached an understanding that to the extent services are not needed, they're not going to be provided. It's so simple as that. So with that, I'd just like to turn it over to Alan and see if he has any any comments, and then to take questions.
Thank you. I really don't have too many questions. I'm ready to answer any question the council may have. It is a 5-year contract that we have with CSG, GS, whatever, CSG. And yeah, it's started as a RP process, and the pricings are very competitive with the other firm that submitted, went for interview process. And the strategy always been is that the city did not hire permanent staff for construction, major construction project, because there's a lot of times there's a cycle of a lot of construction and stops, so we don't hire city staff. So instead we go privatize the services. And the way it's set up is that when we went off RP, we only requested 1 staff person, and turned out to be Jim Giuliano. And so that we have the ability to ramp up or ramp down depending on the situation. So about 1.5 years ago, we added a part-time person, which we did it for 1.5 years, which is scheduled to end as of July 1st. So since we had quite a bit of workload this summer, additional staff is necessary to get us through this summer. At the same time, we're going to continue to look at all high school to see what the state, going through the state process to see what the state's going to do, support or not support the projects. So in the event that there's a change, or in the event that we do not get support from the state, then we will sit down and we adjust all the staffing load and to reflect the amount of work that we need to do in terms of staffing. That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lowe. Are there any questions of the council members? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. Ms. King, you want to do a roll call vote as well?
Sorry. Mr. Burnett.
Aye.
Ms. Johnson.
Aye.
Mr. Langella.
Aye.
Mr. Sachinelli.
Aye.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Hooverman.
Aye.
Mr. Roberts.
Aye.
Ms. Young.
Yes.
Mr. Kides.
Yes.
Mr. Theodorides.
Yes.
Mr. Keegan.
Yes.
Mr. Sirenides.
Yes.
Mr. Livingston.
Yes.
Ms. Shanahan.
Yes.
14 votes, passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, I guess Mr. Kides on item 7C2.
It's actually item 1, Mayor.
Item 7C1. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I might, before it's read, I'd like to recuse myself for potential conflict of interest.
Please let the record show that Ms. Johnson recused herself.
And Mayor, I think I need to as well.
Okay, let the record also show that Ms. Young has recused herself from item 7C1. Mr. Kides.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just pulling up the item now. It's item C1, approve the 2020 applications for referral to the state for inclusion to the NNA tax credit program. The planning committee, I'd like to move that item and quickly speak to it. Planning committee approved the eligible nonprofit organizations that will be receiving tax credits, and now we're asking the council for that same approval. And that's about it.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on the item? Seeing none, Ms. King, if you'll take a roll call vote.
Sorry, again. Mr. Burnett.
Aye.
Mr. Langella.
Aye.
Mr. Sachinelli.
Aye.
Mr. Heuvelman.
Aye.
Mr. Roberts.
Aye.
Mr. Kides.
Aye.
Mr. Theodorides.
Yes.
Mr. Keegan.
Yes.
Mr. Sirenides.
Yes.
Mr. Livingston,
Yes.
Ms. Shanahan,
Yes.
You can add Ms. Smith in there. You missed me.
can't hear anything.
You missed me. Add me as a yes.
I thought it was you that recused yourself. It was Darlene. Okay. Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Okay. 12 votes.
12 in favor, two recusals. Thank you. Is there another motion? Mr. Hooverman.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all very much. Have a great evening.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Be well.
Thank you. Thanks, Barbara.